रोल नंबर 88।
यस सर।
मैम गेट ज्वाइन हो चुके हैं अभी।
यस सर।
Sir, hello.
यस बोलिए।
Sir, kindly mark roll number 60 as present because network
यस यस।
was that time, sir.
ओके
Okay,
ओके
okay. 60.
ओके।
Sir, please
Sir.
54 also. 54, roll number 54.
ऑलरेडी सर आपका
Sir, roll
मैनुअल
number
ऑलरेडी आपका मैनुअली अटेंडेंस ले चुके हो सर मैं।
Okay,
Sir, roll number
thank you, sir.
20.
यस मैम
Roll
ओके
number
थैंक
20.
यस यस थैंक यू।
All participants, our guest is here. Please don't disturb now. Okay?
Okay, ma'am.
Yes.
Kindly mark 20 present.
Yes, sure, ma'am. He will mark. Please don't disturb now.
Okay, sir. Okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am. Fine.
So today we have Dr. Pathan Muhammad Arif Ali Khan with us. It is an honor and privilege to introduce our esteemed guest speaker, who is a distinguished academician, researcher in the field of chemistry. Dr. Khan currently serves as a professor and head of the Department of Chemistry at Maulana Azad College of Arts, Science and Commerce, with an impressive teaching experience of 28 years at the undergraduate level and 22 years at the postgraduate level. Dr. Khan has played a crucial role in shaping the future of numerous students. He holds a PhD in chemistry and has qualified NET in chemical sciences and DIT CDAC, demonstrating his expertise in the field. Dr. Khan's contributions extend beyond teaching. He is actively involved in academic leadership and research. He currently serves as the chairman of the Board of Studies in Chemistry at Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Marathwada University, Aurangabad, and has been key member of various academic councils and boards. His research work is commendable, with multiple research papers, patents, and publications to his credit. Additionally, he has been instrumental in organizing workshops, conferences, and guest lectures, sharing his knowledge with the wider academic community. His professional affiliations include memberships in prestigious organizations such as Indian Chemical Society, Indian Science Congress, and the Association of Chemistry Teachers. Dr. Khan's dedication to academia and research makes him a valuable resource for aspiring chemists and scholars. Here, we are truly honored to have him with us today, and we eagerly look forward to his insights and expertise. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Pathan Muhammad Arif Ali Khan, sir. Thank you, sir. You can start your lecture, sir.
Thank you, madam. First of all, I am thankful to the director of Madan Mohan Malviya Center for Human Resource, Dr. and Professor Satish Patil, sir, and Assistant Director Rafi Khan, sir, and all the teaching friends, teacher friends. As we are very keen to have some very good academic हेलो
Yes, sir.
Yes. आवाज आ रही है?
Yes, sir. थोड़ी low है, sir. अगर if you can increase the voice, it will be better.
So I was speaking that we want to have a very good academic career ahead. Academic career ahead. And it also include our research involvement by writing books, by writing research papers, and carrying out research, we can have a very good teaching, learning outcomes. And Government of India is also emphasizing on the research and innovations. In the month of December last year, 2024, Government of India and Prime Minister of India especially announced that Government of India is going to have a one nation, one subscription policy, and Government of India is ready to provide research journals accessible to all the researchers and students, and a target of 1.8 crore subscriptions, or may call it as a researchers can avail the facilities. And the main focus is that our nation should have very good research and innovation in the field of science as well as some other subjects. We are the largest population in the world, and especially we are having the youngest generation who can contribute more towards carrying out the research and innovation to make our people happy as well as luxurious in their life. Now, if you see here, then you will find that the research journals published in our country, their standard is not as much high as the other countries, especially developed countries, are having. And United Kingdom and other countries, European countries, are having standard research publications and agencies. And in our publications, research papers, we are publishing the work, we are communicating our research work to the journals which are published mainly in India, and the work which is submitted for publication is not up to the mark. That is why the University Grant Commissions has suggested a care list for the research journals published especially in our country and abroad to control the lower quality research publications. So far as writing of research paper is concerned, it is not as simple as we look. So far as research is concerned, our work which we carry out in our laboratories is to be communicated to the other scientists and society at large, industries and other research organizations, for the benefit of the general masses or general people. That is why it is compulsory or to write a scientific research paper. Secondly, the work which we have carried out, it is having the social impact. It is for the benefit of people by providing certain facilities, medicines, etc. Therefore, scientific writing is important. But when we are writing a research journal paper, it should be well ordered, and the concepts as well as the results should be clear and pronounced. Scientific findings in our work should be clearly mentioned, and at the same time, it should be having a proper English in our writings, so that the work and our research paper is
এবং তারা নিজেরার মধ্যে সবই
is communicable to the other parts of the world, and every person on the earth can be able to get the communications submitted by us. So I was discussing that the work is to be communicated to the people and researchers, and it is communicated in the form of research paper. The work which is carried out, the experimental work which is done in the laboratories, is incomplete until we can publish the results of that experiments and published in a proper research journal. Now, while writing a research paper, we must have some important point to keep in mind. To be a good research paper, to write a good research paper, we must include these points. We should consider these points so that the research paper is very good and the work of the research, quality of the research work is good. A poor experimentation, poor methods applied for the experiments cannot make our research paper of good quality. Even though you write in a very good language, especially in English. So, to be a good research paper, experimentation part and its conclusions, along with very good writing, it makes the paper very good. Now, while writing a research paper, one should avoid the complex sentences. It makes the paper very complicated or difficult to understand. Therefore, try to use simple and clear language and paragraph in a number of paragraphs. Now, so far as quality of work, research work is concerned, the work which is published in a well-reputed journals or the journals which are included in UGC care list or those which are having citation Indian Citation Index, or it is recognized or indexed in Thomson Reuters as well as Web of Science and Scopus are the good journals. And if we are publishing our research work in those journals, then the work may be very good. Publishing the work in a good research journal doesn't mean that your work is also very good. But the chances are that the work is very good. While writing a research paper, we must include the plagiarism policy, and to avoid the plagiarism in our content. Generally, the cut and paste policy, which includes the work of other in our research paper, it makes us ambiguity, as well as it makes us criminal. We cannot use the work of other, either experimental or writings, in our work without any quotations. The tools which are available in our today's world for making the research papers very good, there are number of tools which are available, and those tools can be used for making our writings effective and more powerful. These are some literature search engines are available, which are shown here. PubMed is there, which is free. Google Scholar is the another, which is free for all. Illicit is the another literature searching engine which is available. Now there are other tools which can be used to make our research paper effective, is knowledge map, that will be used for literature review, visualize the complex relationships in literatures, and those are Research Rabbit, Connected Papers, Lit Maps, etc. And for those whose English is not very good, they can use writing tools like Grammarly, Paperpal, and Rabbit for writing the research paper. For citations, for in-text references, and the bibliographies and references, the tools which are also available are Zotero, Mendeley, and EndNote, which can be used for easier and very effective writings. So far as research journals are concerned, there are different types of research journals, and these research journals can be selected for publication of our work. While selecting the research journal, we must go through the publication policy, the content it publishes, the field in which it is related, and the work which we are carrying out, they are similar. Then we can think of that journal. The journal should be peer reviewed. If it is a blind review, peer review, then it is again, it is very good. While selecting while selecting a research journal, certain factors like impact factor, H index, G index, etc. can be considered, but it is not the whole and sole formula that every journal having very good impact factor may be very good, and it will be helpful for publishing our work. It might be a good journal, but it might not be publishing the work related to our research. Therefore, while considering the research journal, we must think of those which are peer-reviewed journals and which are having a very good quality control checks, plagiarism policies, and the quality of work which is carried forward by the other researchers. Therefore, it will make our paper to be published in that particular journal. Now, there are predatory journals also, and which can exploit you by charging a large fees, publication charges, and there are chances that the work which is of poor quality can be published in those journals. Therefore, while selecting the journals, we should consider that we should have in our mind about predatory journals. Every open access journals does not have is not a predatory journal. There are certain journals which are having very good reputation, but they are having open access. Now, while checking whether the journal is predatory or of a good quality, these are the steps we should consider so that it will be easier for us to select the type of journal and the journal for our research publications. First, we must check the reputation of that particular research journal. And by going through the Scopus, LinkedIn, Google Scholars, and other Web of Science, etc., we can check the reputation of a particular journal. Secondly, when we will go to its website, then we will find the peer review policy of a particular research journal. So we should visit the website of a research journal and we should see the peer review policy of a particular journal. Those which are having rigorous peer review journals, peer reviews are generally of good quality journal. Then similarly, their work or their publications are indexed in particular types of research agencies, especially Scopus, PubMed, Web of Science, etc. If it is indexed in those indexing agencies, then the chances is that the journals are very good. Secondly, those which should not levy excessive fees or publication charges. Generally, the predatory publishers, they are charging heavily for publication in particular in their journals. Then another step which can be used for checking the quality of that journal is by reading the research publications, research papers published in that particular journal. How many mistakes are there of concept as well as of grammar, spellings, and the content. Those errors will give the information and knowledge about the quality of that research journal. Now, there are other methods also. To decide the quality of that research journal. There are some good publishers who published the work. Research journals are having very good impact factor. Are Cambridge University Press, Springer, Elsewhere, Thomson Reuters, Blackwell, McGraw-Hill, etc., Oxford University Press, Wiley, etc., are the very good publishers. They are publishing a large number of research journals and they are indexed in different agencies like Scopus, Crossref, then Proquest, and then Copernicus, Thomson and Reuters, etc. Now, while selecting a research journal, we must see that the ethical rules the publishing agency follows. Now, in a developing countries like us, there are large number of research journals. They are published, and out of which very less are open, which are not charging any fees for publication. Otherwise, they are heavily charging for publication. And they are available online. So far as predatory journals are concerned, they are having open access model to deceive the authors. Now, the another factor which is to be considered is the plagiarism in that particular research journal or in our publications. While writing a research papers, plagiarism is the another concern because that makes us guilty of copying the things, either experimentation, either results, or either writings of research paper without proper citation or reference or proper quotations. It is not good. And Government of India and UGC is very strict about the copy paste policy, that is plagiarism. There are different types of plagiarism which we don't have the information about. First type is direct plagiarism. It means that word to word copy paste from others' work, others' writing is a direct plagiarism. Second type of plagiarism is the self plagiarism. Sometimes what happens, we publish a paper and we are using the content of that research journal in the same dicto copy in our another research paper. That type of plagiarism comes under the self plagiarism. So making or republishing the text in a can you mute? republishing the text or content which is already published by us and in using in another research paper, in the second paper comes under self-plagiarism. Then another one is the type of plagiarism which is called as mosaic plagiarism. When we are using the phrases, sentences from the other research papers or websites without changing its language, we are using in our work. That type of work, plagiarism, is called as mosaic plagiarism. And there are certain type of copy paste or the work which is included in our text, which is unintentional. It is accidental. So that is the accidental type of plagiarism. Now, what comes under what comes under plagiarism? Now, if we are citing, we are giving the reference in our research paper, from the original scientific place or research journal, then that type of literature is called as primary literature. Means picking the concept or picking the content or the experimentations which is included with proper referencing in our publications. Now, duplicate publications, multiple publications or redundant publications, these are the types of publications publishing the work more than once by the same author or publisher or different authors. Now, it violates the copyright of publisher as well as author. Now, there are other types of publications are called as secondary publications, in which republication or simultaneous publications is done. The content is published simultaneously in two different places, especially two different journals. Their names or places of publications may be different. So that is coming under secondary type of secondary publications. Now, there are the steps. These are the steps to avoid the plagiarism. Your work to be published, it should be written skillfully and taking a proper stake of everything which you have done, and literature survey, summarize the past research work or finding in our own wordings. When you sit for writing or I sit for writing, then what is coming in my mind having different sequence as compared to others. Therefore, when I write by my own, then definitely it is chances that we should be avoiding the plagiarism. There are some certain sentences which can be used in our publications with proper changes, which is not by replacing a few words. Now, secondly, for that purpose, now there are very good writing skills or writing tools which are already discussed are available. By taking the help of those tools, we can improve and avoid the plagiarism. Now, a misconception is that we are placing the content on the web, especially on Google, to find out whether the work is already published or not. The content is already published or not. In that case, you must avoid the online softwares, which are very harmful for us, as the work which we will find we are submitting for plagiarism, it will be stored in a server of a Google, and it will be available for reading to others. Therefore, those those plagiarism softwares as well as tools which are available online, they should be used carefully so that our work should not be used by the others. Then the other thing is to avoid the plagiarism is that we should have a proper citation and referencing for those work which we are continuing or we are moving forward. These are the steps which are used for publication of publication of papers in the particular journal. We first start writing, then it is submitted, and after submission, it will be sent to the reviewer. And sometimes what happens, the paper is rejected at the first stage because it does not have the it is not the paper is not having the same field which is published by the research journal. So if content of our research paper is different, is having different field, then the work will be automatically, it will be rejected at the first instance. Then once it is found that your work and the publication policy of the journal, it is same or on the same line, then the paper is sent for review. There is a peer review policy. There are chances after reviewing, after reviewers' comments, it may be accepted or rejected depending upon the recommendations of the reviewers. Sometimes the reviewers require certain corrections or certain changes in the publications. Then while explaining or giving the reasons for the publication, for the correction suggested by the reviewers, we must have a polite nature in our writings. Here I am showing here one of the comments, and we are writing in a tabular form the action taken on that particular comment of a particular reviewer. So in this way, in a tabular form, from point to point, comments made by the reviewers, we should address the query, and we should have a very good answer for that particular query, and proper action which is needed should be given in a tabular form, so that it will be easier for reviewer to understand whether the necessary changes are made or not. There are instances when the reviewers are making a comment, but it is not feasible or it is not necessary. Then we should politely inform them that it is not necessary or it is not included in our work. Then these are the few reasons which makes the paper rejected in the early stage. First is that paper is of limited interest or covers local issues, geography or specific product. The work is of routine type is another reason. Third is that there is no incremental advance or limited scope. That is why it is rejected early, at the early stage. There is no novelty, and the significance to the general masses or the industry, etc., or the general people, the significance is very less, or it is not directly related to those. Then in that condition also the papers are rejected early. Now every journal is having their submission policy. If we are failed to comply that submission policy or requirement, the data requirement, the content requirement, then also it will result in the failure for acceptance. There is incomplete literature survey, very short literature survey, or improper literature survey. If it is included in the paper, then also it is likely to be rejected. Then another reason is generally we are facing is unacceptability due to the poor English language. If content is in English and quality of English language is not good, then it may be likely to be rejected. But you and I should not be discouraged by rejection. It is for our betterment. It is for improvement. And the reviewers and the journals editors, they are politely suggesting certain conditions, certain policies, certain informations for us to be included in our future research publications or research work. So it will help us in one way or the other. Therefore, we should not take the rejection as personal, and secondly, every comment or every reviewer's suggestions should be considered seriously so that it can improve our future communications. Re-evaluate our work if any suggestions are made by the reviewers, and so on. Now, sometimes they suggest, the research journal or editor suggest a particular another type of research journal. So that paper will be published in that particular. Now, while writing a paper, we must have very good policy for writing. We should adopt a particular type of attention. And if you want that our research paper should be published or accepted, then we should follow these conditions. First is that we must have attention to all the details of our experiments, the related work, and the data we are producing. Every detail should be given proper attention. And when our work is complete, then check and double check the work. Then we should have a very good review of our work. English must be improved or it should be proper. Presentation of our work is very important. As earlier said, a very good research work, experimentation, but poor language, it make the paper to be rejected. Therefore, it is necessary to have a very good English, and the work should be presented properly. Important points should not be ignored. Important findings should not be ignored. Everything which is important in our work, it should be highlighted so that our presentation will be effective and it will create interest of the author, editors and the reviewers about our research work. Second is that there should be, again, take the revisions again and again, repeat and revise it if necessary. While writing a paper, proper acknowledgements should be made. The persons who cooperated or helped in our research work, they should be properly acknowledged. Their contribution should be acknowledged. We should pay gratitude to their help as well as their contributions. Now, the work which we are willing to publish, it should be new and original and should not be published earlier. Then critically we have to evaluate our work. Now, these are the main points. Now, it is for you to respond to this question, whether after publication of this paper, research paper, which statement is correct? Which one of the following statement? There are 4 statements. Out of 4 statements, 1 statement is correct. So, out of 4, you have to find out give me the answer as out of these 4, which statement is correct. The first is that the paper will always stay published. Once the paper is published, means it will remain published forever. Second, the paper will always stay published if the authors are highly experienced and researchers, highly experienced researchers. Third is that the paper may be retracted or withdrawn from the journal if it is discovered that the author has committed an unethical violation. And the D option is the paper will always stay published if it is published in a journal with high impact factor. Out of these four, one statement is correct. Now, point out which statement is correct. Yes, fast. Are you able to see these questions, statements?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So tell me which statement A, B, C, D, which statement is correct?
A.
One answer came from roll number 88 as A. What about others? The correct answer is C. It is not A. The paper may be retracted or withdrawn from the journal if it is discovered that the authors have committed an unethical violations, plagiarism or experimental copy paste, etc., or publishing the work twice in different journals. If this type of unethical work violations are observed, then it is likely that if the paper is published in a good journal, then even also it will be removed from that publications. If researchers are good, even though if they are using unethical violations or unethical writings, then it may be retracted. Unethical practices are carried out by those, then even then they can be retracted. It is withdrawn. There are the cases where the number of papers are withdrawn in well reputed research journals. So it is not compulsory that the work once published is published forever. If any discrepancy is found in our work, then it may likely to be rejected, to be removed from the journal site. Second is that it doesn't have any impact of researchers' quality or their work. The quality of that work, particular paper, as well as the ethical conditions, if they are followed, then only that will remain published. And at later stage also, if it is found that there are mistakes or there are certain unethical conditions and there is violation of ethical laws, then even then they can be rejected or it can be retracted or withdrawn. And in there are very good research journals also with high impact factor in which the papers are retracted and withdrawn. You might have come across in last 2 years where very good research journals also retracted the publications from their journals. Now, so far as writing is concerned, these are the steps for writing a research paper. First is the pre-writing, making a notes, writing ideas on a paper sheet, making general text, drawing figures, collecting data, correcting the spelling, making sentences by our own is the pre-writing. Once it is done, then we will sit calmly and quietly for writing a paper. So first is collecting the data, figures, making tables, graphs, etc. The material which is required, that is collected, that is the pre-writing. Once it is collected, literature survey is available, then we will sit for the writing. the research paper. The second one is that once we have completed the writings, then we should revise it again and again, and the revision as per the journal's requirement, that is to be kept in mind while revision, whether the work or the writings is according to the policy of a particular research journal in which we are going to publish the paper. So these are the conditions, and then editing is there, proofreading is there, the print, read it again and again, and if possible, take the help of a English teacher or the tools which are available so that it will make our paper effective. Now, these are the things which should be available while writing a research pre-writing stage. We must have the record of our readings, results, experimental data, then tables. We must make tables, draw graphs. Then similarly, we must have the literature survey with us, data files, and revise the files. And then again, revise the reading if necessary, and write the idea whenever it comes to your mind. Now, all this, after collecting this, you are going to write a research paper. Then our research paper, it should be having a very good knowledge of these parameters or factors or the content. First is that in our research paper, there is a part called as abstract. Second is the introduction part, in which we are giving our literature survey related, work related data and our objectives, etc. We will see at the later stage. Then methodology, the work which we have carried out by that particular method. Then research results, the findings of our work, and lastly the discussion and references. Most of the research journals, they are following the policy of EMRIDE, that is introduction, methods, and in some it is called as experimental details, results. Some are included, some are having result and discussions as a common head. Introduction, it is telling about why we are carrying out this research work. Methods, in which, when, how, and where we have carried out our research work. Experimentation and the methods used for the research, the tools available used for the, and the instruments used for the research or the carrying out the experimentation, that is given in the methods. Results, what outcomes we are getting here, that is mentioned in the results. And discussion is the another part where we are analyzing the results which we have obtained. So generally these are the pillars of the research paper. So we will take a break now for 5 minutes. Then we will continue the second part
Yes,
of
sir.
a
Sir,
paper.
we can
taking a
have 10
particular-
minutes break, sir. We can have 10 minutes break, sir.
Okay.
Because every day they are taking 10 minutes break.
Okay. So we will meeting after 10 minutes.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Pathan sir, are you there?
We will start within 2 minutes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Should we continue now?
Sir, you can. Sir.
Now we will see the actual paper and the things which are to be included in the research papers. It is my own research paper. I have tried here to explain the points which are to be included, incorporated in our research paper. So first point is the title. Every research paper is having title. Therefore, that title should be efficient, informative, specific, understandable, as well as it should not be vague. And while writing a title of a research paper, we must capitalize the nouns present in our title. We should have a keywords which are used for identifying our paper. This title of our research paper should not exceed 25 words. It should be less than 25 words. Then comes about the authors. Now here, authors, they can be more or less. Single author can be there. And they can be having 7 to 8 authors also. But as per our UGC requirements, first author is the corresponding author. The other 2 authors can collaborate with him. And the 4th author is generally a supervisor. Now, there are various ways to write the order of authors in our research papers. Generally, we are using the sequence which we are using depending upon their contribution in the research paper. First author is generally considered to be the corresponding author, and it is shown by asterisk or star. We can have more than one corresponding author. If more than one corresponding author is there, or first author is not corresponding author, even then we should write asterisk to the asterisk. Kindly unmute your mic. Kindly unmute your mics, please. So I was telling here that there might be more than 4 authors also, but first author will be automatically by default is a corresponding author. Other than first author, if any other author is a corresponding author, you want to make him the corresponding author, then first author as well as the another author which should be marked with asterisk. And the last author, it may be 4th, 5th, whatever may be the last author, it is considered to be by default. Last author is is a supervisor or principal investigator. That is the research guide. Now, there are various methods used for giving the sequence of authors. One is according to the contributions of each author by decreasing order of their contribution. First, the main contributor, that is the main candidate who carried out his work, majority of the work, will be the first author, and the last author is research guide or supervisor, and remain in between them. The authors are given in the sequence of decreasing their contributions. Another technique which is used here, that is called as alphabetical list. So generally the majority of the research journals, they are following the relative contribution method or method or system for the naming. Now, while writing the contribution or the sequence of their authors, we must also include the affiliations of each author while submitting the research paper. Now, that affiliation is shown by abstract A, B, C, etc. Superscript by A, B, C, etc. Authors should be having a fixed affiliation and email in every paper. The thing which is to be kept in mind in this that while writing a affiliation, sometimes what happens, we write short name of a particular college, our college, and sometimes we write the complete name. So when the work is acknowledged or abstracted, it will be taken in the abstract. Then even abstracting agencies, so they make the different profile for you. So, similarly, in some of my research papers, my name is Pathan Muhammad Arif. Some short name Arif Pathan is given. So Web of Science and other agencies are there which are making more than one profile. So try to write the name in a single way. Don't use different types of naming the authors. But sometimes what happens, some journals, they are making some initials. For example, in the journal, some journals, they are writing M.A. Pathan or Pathan M.A. in that also. So that type of things can happen according to the research journals as per their policy. But try to have the same time of same name style in every paper so that you should be recognized properly, and at the same time your affiliation should be similar. You can see here in my research paper, I have my student has written Maulana Azad College, Aurangabad. And in some research publication, another research scholar I have written Maulana Azad College of Arts, Science and Commerce. So it makes some confusing things while indexing the research paper in by the indexing agencies. So more than one index can be formed there, but it cannot be resolved. But while carrying out the national national ranking framework, NRIF, in which they are picking up the number of publication directly from the websites. So from the different agencies, they do not ask you to give the list of research publications. In that case the your publications number can be fluctuated or may vary. Therefore, while writing the names, you should follow only single type of naming system or complete name of a particular author. And secondly is second point is that while writing the affiliation, you should use or scholar should use single type of affiliations. I mean to say that the affiliation should be either complete name of the college, then every time you use the similar type of naming or affiliation of a college. Second is that while writing the emails for corresponding author, generally what happens, we are writing here different emails. We are changing the email. So it will be making the indexing agencies to create another type of profile. So more than one profile will be generated because of your different email. So preferably used a single email ID for all your publications for a proper acknowledgement and proper for your proper acknowledgements and your paper countings and proper profiling. So these are to be things which is to be kept in mind while writing authors and their affiliations. The next point is writing an abstract. In a research paper, we are having the abstract. There are a few things which is to be considered while writing an abstract. The abstract, the first point is that it is a single paragraph having not more than 250 words. It is a single paragraph and it should not be having more than one paragraph. And the words, it should not be more than 250. Then second is that it should be written in the past tense, because the already you have carried out your research work, you have carried out your experimentations, and then you have got the results. The already results are already happened. Results are already decided. You have having the research results and discussions. These are also you have come across. Therefore, the things should be in the past tense, not in present tense. So it indicates that the work is already done. Another thing is that in this abstract, unnecessary short forms should not be, abbreviations should not be used other than those which are already accepted by the international system, especially. And in the abstract, another thing is that in the abstract, the things which is not included is the references. In the abstract, the references or citations should not be included in the running text. Then the paper, this abstract, it should be having certain parts. That is, first you have to use the word we in this our work, because it is a collaborative work and more than one author is present. So all of them collectively carried out the work. Therefore, you should use the word collectively as a we, not I or it, etc. Then second point is that in this abstract, you should include the principal objectives of clearly and identify the numbers. What are your objectives? Number 1, number 2, etc. So the objectives should be included in this abstract. And third one is that there is summarized the result very shortly and summarize in concise manner. Then there should be some introductory part, introductory sentences in between the lines contest. And lastly, you should give the principal conclusions, main conclusions of your research paper or research work, and highlight of your work should include this abstract. The another is the introduction part. In the introduction of a research, introduction part of the research paper, you must describe the problem. You should write appropriate approach you should adopt the appropriate approach, funnel type approach, where broad you will start with the broader aspects and will be narrowing down, so that coming to the very close to the our specific research problem, research topic, the work we have carried out. Secondly, that in this work, you should everyone should include the contributions of other peoples which are which has reported, which have reported their work on the topic which is similar to us. So that point should be included in this brief. It should include the brief. We will call as a review of literature, or we will call it as a contributions of others should be included in this by proper citations and be giving the number. Now, while writing this citation number, there are different techniques used. Generally, APA technique or IEEE techniques are used. Methods are used for citations during the running text. Like in this superscript number, superscript is given in this research paper. In my this particular research journal is adopting that type of technique, that type of method. Then second point is that topics should be main point of the work which is related to our work should be mentioned here. Then another is that it should be designed in a simple way to inform the relevance of our research work and include short history of the work which is already carried out. That is the literature survey. Introduction usually follows a narrow, that is following the funnel type of style. Writing broadly, we will start with broad subject and we will narrow down with the passage of sentences or paragraph, and we will be arriving to the very close to the objectives of our research work. Secondly, and the next point is that it should be accurate, and it should include the point why, what was I studying, why was this is the important question, why this problem is selected, what did I know about this topic before starting with the research work, before this study, what models was testing, and what approach did I take this in this particular study. So these points should be included in our introduction part. So there are some certain rules which are to be used for making a good introduction part of our research paper, is that it should present the nature and scope of our research topic or research problem investigated. Second is that state the methods of investigation, which method of investigation we are using, the principal results of the investigations of the previous. Then similarly, discussing the principal conclusions suggested by the results, etc. So that thing to be used. Use the active voice here in this introduction part. You should use the active voice. Avoid lengthy or unfocused reviews of previous research while quoting the things, while writing the references of previous research work or and the references, citations. Avoid the lengthy and unfocused reviews. Then second is that try to use those citations or those references which are peer-reviewed research scientific literature. Those are scholarly reviewed by the research journals, scholarly reviewers and reviews. Avoid general reference work, general reference work such as textbooks, etc. should be avoided while writing the introduction part. Then similarly, In this, if the abbreviations are occurring or appearing in this text, then it should be defined properly, so that one must understand what is it means for that particular abbreviations. So these are the points to be considered while writing a introduction part. Then we must include the justification for the research model in our research at the close to the end of this introduction part. And similarly, citation of another paper for the method description. The method which we are going to adopt, similar type of work is already carried out or related work is carried out, then we should cite the things in our running text as well as at the references at the end of the research journal. Then the other second part, next part in our research paper is in some journals they are having method and material, or we will call it as experimental details. Some they use result and discussion first, and then followed by the experimental details and material and method. So it makes no difference, because it is the sequence of occurring is different, but the content type will be similar. First, we will see here that result discussion part in this particular paper published in the polycyclic aromatic compounds. So in this research journals, they are adopting the result and discussion first method first, and then followed by the experimental detail or the material methods. So far as result and discussion is there, in the result and discussion, we are discussing the results, begin with the based on the results which we have obtained, broadened in scope, the details of the research. Data is to be included in this tables whenever required tables which are to be referenced properly in the parentheses, like here we have in this we have a parenthesis, we have given the table number etc. With proper text. Similarly, the results are discussed meaningfully and not simply repeated. In this results and discussion, we are not repeating the results again and again. It is presented in simple language. It is presented in simple language and meaningfully, and it should not be repeated again and again. Then similarly, while writing the result and discussion, we must have very simple and short sentences. It should be concise. Very short sentences should be used, so that a proper meaning can be abstract from that particular sentences. It should not be having any ambiguity, so that the concept is clear and the main results should be communicated to the proper citations and understandings. Now, the results should be written in the past tense, and it should be core to the core point to the research paper. The purpose of this section is to summarize and illustrate the findings in orderly and logical sequence, without any interpretations will be given properly in this results and discussion part. And in this results and discussion part, the proper text, table, figures, figures and pictures, etc. Whatever may be there will be with mentioned with the title below or above as per the journal's norms. Like here, the tables are present here. After tables, there are the detailed statistical values are given there, which is mentioned in parentheses, so that it is understandable to the each of us, very in simple and without any confusion. And so it is should be mentioned in parentheses. In this below the table we have given here in this particular case, as the reaction conditions are given, statistical data is quantity of this isoniazid is mentioned in parenthesis 1 millimole, or any other quantity, maybe the unit may be mentioned in this parenthesis, so that there will be clear view of that particular results. Then and the next point is that if we use during our text, which in this text, if we are using the words such as however, while, further, indeed, increases the flow of our sentences, means it will make clear understanding of the point which we are trying to communicate to the others, and it will be having clear vision or clear explanatory sentences for everyone. Now, in this part, result and discussion part, we must also include the interpretations and conclusions about the findings in our experiments, experimental data, which we have carried out at our laboratories or in the surveys, etc. Now, in this result and discussion part, we can maybe in agreement with the work already reported, or maybe we may have we may be having the contrast results as already published by the others. So in that condition, we should justify each and every point here in this result and discussion part. Unexpected results are there. If the results are not as per our likings, even then we must include it and mention with justification. And while writing this result and discussion or methods, which we have used in this result and explanations and discussions, address the limitations of our study, what and why we have carried out, and what are the limitations of our work, and what further work can be extended. So those things should be included in this result and discussion part. Significance of the work related to the other is also included in this, so that it will make our work more impressive and more effective, because if your work is in agreement with the others already research papers, then in that condition also it will be making a clear-cut sense to the readers. They can understand that the results are in coincident with our results already published by the others. And if your results are not as per the results already published, we are having contrasting results, then in that case also we must cite the things that X, Y, Z have carried out so and so work, and his result was like that, but our results are totally different because of so and so conditions, because of so and so reasons it might be. So with justification, that can be highlighted in this result and discussion part. Now, when we are using the table graphs, pictures, figures, etc., then it should be properly mentioned here. It should be title should be informative, and it should be having very short, and it should be related to our it is related to the results which are mentioned in the table, so that it will be understandable easily. Second point is that while writing this table, and here this is should be table number 3, like here, or table number 2 already we mentioned there. It should be cited in our running text also. It is mentioned in our previous text also. Now, second is that then informative information reads from left to right. Data should be writing the paper in English, so that so that it is script is written in left to right. So in this way, we should be writing the table data from left to right. The entries should be made from left to right, and with proper table titles and table titles and figures, etc. Then if any legends are allowed, legends are mentioned there, then that legend should be given below the table with proper notations. Especially here, subscript A is given and reaction conditions are mentioned there. So proper proper way, in the proper way, abbreviations which are used there in the table or graph or any picture, etc. Then in that condition, the full form or full form of the abbreviation should be mentioned below the table, so for better understanding. So clear-cut understanding will be to the readers. They are mentioned below the. Similarly, while writing our result and discussion part, the sentences should be short, concise, and it will be related to the results and very in a lucid language and complete sense. It making a complete sense. Then it will be making a more effective research paper. Now, sometimes in our result and discussions, we are having different types of interpretations, or so it should be in that condition, the subheading should be mentioned. Subheadings should be used to guide through the paper. So that it will create a simple and clear understanding of the paper. Now, whenever experimental data is there, here in this particular case, we are having suppose NMR, mass, etc., IR data, etc. So and then this will be according to the norms and regulations of the research journal as per their format. The results, experimental data, the tables, etc. It should be in the way which the research journals demands. Similarly, in research journals, some research journals, the title of the table or title of the graph or title of the figure, it is mentioned below the table or figure, and in some cases journals, they are preferring the title on the top. So that sequence, that policy should be adopted as per the norms of the research journal. Then we will come to the another point, that is the experimental part. It is also in it is some journals, it is used as a materials and methods, or it is called as experimental part. It is in particular in this experimental part, many journals requires ethical statement. Some requires ethical statement at the end of the conclusion. Whatsoever may be the policy of the research journal, you should adopt as per the. So if it is mentioned there, which type of instruments are used, which type of methods are used, places of work is there. So all those should be included in this material and apparatus part, or material and methods part of the research paper. Now, the procedure for the adopted for the research work, it should be explained in a simple and appropriate way. so that it is understandable to the all the parts. Since the work is already completed and data is collected, then we can say that the work is already done. So it is mentioned in past tense. Use the past tense in this because already the work has been carried out, completed. Therefore, the sentences should be in the past tense. Second is that if we are using followed by, then, etc. during our experiment, so it will make sensible procedure so that it will easy to understand the sequence of happening during the experiments or during the our procedure. The stepwise understanding will be created among the readers. Therefore, here in this case, we have to write in a sequence using and then, etc., after, followed by, etc. Then in some point of time, there are some limitations for our methods which we are adopting for our work. So in that condition, we must also mention, we should address why we should give the reasoning for with the giving the limitations for our methods, limitations for our method should be explained while giving the general procedure for that. Then while writing material and methods, some points to be considered is that it should be precise, it should be complete, it should be concise, as well as it does not tell us what was discovered. इसमें हमको ये नहीं बताना है कि क्या discovered हो गया. What are the results? We are not mentioning the results in this part of the experimental or material and method part. Only we are giving here in this experimental part or in this material and method part, we are giving the procedures adopted for the for getting the results. Techniques used, instruments used, any place or anything which is used, geographical place, etc. There it should be mentioned there. Then one another point is that in this experimental part, material methods, generally we are avoiding tables and graphs, etc. And generally it is written in paragraph form, not in series of in the tabular form. Now, another point which is to be kept in mind while writing a material and method section is that give the complete details of the experiment, because once your paper is published, then other peoples will be referring this your paper, research paper, and they will either adopt the technique or they will carry forward your work in their laboratories or in their places. So when they are using the techniques, your technique, same method, then if they are employing in their places, then if results are not similar, then that may be making some difficult times for us also. So it will show that if you are mentioning your details of experiments clearly in detail, then your results will be reproducible and it will be acknowledged by proper citations in their by the researchers in their coming research papers. Now, sometimes it happens that in peer review process, sometimes in this material and methods, they raise some queries. And if they are having any doubt in your experimentations, if data the method which is you have mentioned is incomplete or having ambiguity, then it is likely that your manuscript will be rejected. So therefore, it is better to mention all the steps involved in this our research procedures so that it will be having clear cut understanding among the reviewers as well as the readers of our research paper. Then whenever it is necessary, we should use subheadings and subheadings as well as other uh, um, details related to the experiments, design, etc. that should be mentioned there, and results should not be mixed in this section. And as earlier mentioned, all the things should be mentioned in past tense. So these are the main points about this introduction material and method. Now, the another thing is which is included in the included in our research papers. Another part of the research paper is conclusion part. Yeah, in conclusion, we must write the clearly the significance of our work, the conclusions of our work, and we should highlight and write very in a concise manner the conclusions of our research problem. And whenever we are writing, we must use here plural. That is if it is a work is not done by the single author, then it is a plural, more than one person is there, so therefore we should use we word instead of I, or similarly similar words which give the perception about singularity, because it is a collective work of all the then if our work is carried out at certain places, facilities are also availed by us, whether it is paid or unpaid, then it should be properly acknowledged in our acknowledgement section. So after conclusion, there is acknowledgement. And in this, those who provide the facilities, their acknowledgements or their contributions should be mentioned here with thanks, or we are grateful to those persons who cooperated you in this research publications or research papers or research work carried out by us. So their contribution should be properly acknowledged or in this acknowledgement section. One thing is that there is a disclosure statement is there. Sometimes it is called as financial assistance is there. If any type of conflict is there, any point of conflict of interest is present between the authors or among the authors or financer or any agencies, then that should be mentioned here. Disclosure statement in the paper means properly we should mention whether we have received any funds from any agencies, any industries, if the work is carried out in the similar lines of any industry, etc. If you are getting if you are having the conflict of interest with you and the other agencies, funding agencies or any research agencies, then or research authors, researchers, then it should be mentioned in this disclosure statement. Now, some research journals, they are some research journals, they are preferring to have a researchers IDs given by certain well known publishers. Similarly, ORCID ID is some nowadays it is open researchers ID is there, which is database which is created nowadays. The many research journals, they are requesting the authors to mention their ORCID ID. Then in after this disclosure statement or any disclosure statement, I forget to tell here that in disclosure statement, your ethical ethical rules you have followed, or ethical things which is to be mentioned here. If you are using the studies on mice for your studies, or any rights for your studies, then ethical norms should be followed, and that is to be mentioned here in this ethical conditions there, ethical norms there, or ethical statement, disclosure statement you have mentioned there, by that you are followed the norms prescribed by the government and the national as well as international agencies. National and international agencies, with those who frame this type of rules and regulations, these are followed, and no cruelty against the animals or anything is carried out. Excuse me. Then, excuse me. Now, in the some research journals, after disclosure or conflict of interest part, there they allow the details of the supplementary material which you supply. They demand supplementary material which is not included. It is not visible to all the readers, but on demand they can avail that supplementary files from the authors as well as the publishers. They can provide that data. So that data is essential or necessary to for the better understanding. So that type of data is required, which is not a compulsory part of the research paper, that is to be included as a supplementary files or supplementary data. After that, there will be a references. References is the last part of our research paper, in which we are following the different methods or different policies as per the guidelines of the research journals. In this research paper, in this research paper, the initials are at the start and followed by the names and so and so, and then title is also there. After the title of the research paper is also mentioned there, then name of the research journal is there, volume is there. After volume there will be issue is there, then year of publications are there, and then page numbers are there. So in this different techniques are used, which is given by particular research journal. They are adopting them. So we should be giving the research, references in that particular style. What I mean to say is that now in this case here, reference number 6, I can show here that 85 is representing the volume number. Then number 1 is the issue, and then similarly here in the sometimes it is in bold form, it is written in bold, and sometimes it is in the parenthesis. Some research paper journals, they demands the first page of the research paper, just like here in this case page number 29, and some are referring all the research paper research all the papers details, that is page number 29 to 34. In that way it is mentioned. So all these, it should be mentioned according to the norms and style which is preferred by the research journal. So all these was about it was about the research publications, research paper writing. Anything which is you want to ask, we will discuss it, and we'll then complete the. So at the end, I am thankful to our to the director of the teacher training center, Dr. Satish Patil sir, Assistant Director Rafi Khan sir, for giving me an opportunity to interact with you and discuss with you about the scientific writings. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Roll number 24, are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
You can propose your top thanks.
So, in a very simple and but that too in elaborative way, Dr. Arif Pathan sir has enlightened us about the each and every minute details of the research paper writing and its publication. Uh, so even he has also emphasized the point, like even though it is a paper rejection, so we should not be worried about it and how to face these instances. So that also he has explained it in a very good manner. I must say that the guidance which he has given today is nearly it will be surely helpful for all the participants who are present today and for their path of research. So, on behalf of the UGC-MMTTC and all the participants, I am thankful to Dr. Arif Pathan sir from Chemistry Department, Department of Chemistry, Maulana Azad College, for this fantastic lecture. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, one and all. Thank you.